Hi there, my name's Stuart John and I'm the founder of This Sporting World, your online sports travel guide. And our idea is to try and make it so that it's easier for you to see what's on near you when it comes to live sport, no matter where you are around the world, whether you be in the USA, in the UK, or even Australia. Eventually, we'd like to expand that all around the world. But I want you to imagine now you're traveling to one of those three countries and you'd like to catch some local sport. You've heard about that local sporting team and it can be a little bit confusing. In the US, you've got Major League Baseball, you've got the National Football League, the NBA, the NHL, you've got the Major League Soccer and the Canadian Football League thrown in there as well. So there's a lot going on just in that one particular area. If you're heading through the UK, it can be a little bit confusing as to where exactly you're going to get your tickets from. You can see here for Arsenal, just say you've all grown up an Arsenal fan or you just really like the club, you in London around late September, and I can't book tickets. I don't quite understand what's going on there. It's got some membership stuff, and that's about it. Likewise for Crystal Palace, if I have a look at these tickets here, okay, Fulham sold out, that's fantastic, but if I wanted to go see them play Liverpool, it just says more info. I can't choose the seats. I can't work that out. And if you're heading through the Southern Hemisphere or even Japan, want to catch some Super Rugby, well, these are the teams, and you can see there, you've got some names like Bulls, Cheetahs, Lions, Sharks, Kings, Stormers. It's just all over the show. In fact, that's a very old map from back when there were about 18 teams, even though it says Super 15. So, that's not really updated all that well. So if you found yourself looking for the Southern Kings or the Melbourne or the Western Force, you might be looking for quite a while. So there's so many sports, where do you start? Now, I don't have to imagine this. Back in 2014, I was in Seattle, had a very terrible meal at a downtown bar, and then sort of started walking towards where the bus stop was to get back to where I was staying. And there was just a group of crowds of people starting to head down towards, and I followed them because that's what you do. Ended up at this Major League Soccer game between the Seattle Sounders and Real Salt Lake City. And they were, I don't know if you've ever been to CenturyLink Field, but that field is loud. And right below where I was sitting turned out to be the main supporter area with a banging on the drums and call and answer with different people. And it was one of the best sporting atmospheres I've ever come across. And I almost didn't go. If I hadn't have been walking through downtown at the time behind the hordes of people, then I wouldn't have known that this kind of thing was on. So that's part of the reason why we're putting all this together, to make it so as that it's just that little bit easier for you. Now, the way that we've got it, we don't just have the competition pages, the A-League, the AFL, the English Premier League, Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, the NBA. We've also broken it down into the different regions. So you can see here we've got Australia, we've got New South Wales, for example. So if you're heading down there, now Sydney, Wollongong and Newcastle are all quite close together. And you can see here we've got WIN Stadium, which is down in Wollongong. You've got ANZ Stadium, which is in Sydney itself. Earlier this week, we had a game up in Newcastle as well. So there's a few different options that are available. And you can see here, just from the map, they're all quite close together. Now, if I have a look at Sydney, for example, then I'll be able to tell all the different matches that are going on within Sydney. So you can see there again, we've got the Eels up against the Titans, the Giants and the Fever in the Super Netball. Then I've got AFL and I've got some other National Rugby Leagues ones as well. During the earlier in the winter, you've got the Super Rugby thrown in there. And then during the summer, you've got the A-League and also the Big Bash League. So there's a lot of different sports that we're able to cover and make it so as that if you're in the area, you can just go in, have a look, and you can see there with 4 matches on the 4th of August, it could be a little bit off-putting trying to work out exactly which ones that you might want to go to. So that's why we've got these things here. But it's not only that, we've also got information about the teams that are in each city. So you can see here, Sydney has a lot of teams. There's quite a few there, but also too the different grounds that are available. And we've got it so as that it's not just about getting directions, it's not just about showing you where those grounds are, but also showing you what's on at each ground and a bit of information about the grounds themselves. So you can see here with the Sydney Cricket Ground, opened in 1848. It is wheelchair accessible. You can do tours, $30 for adults, 10 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Definitely well worth booking. And of course, we've got some other information there as well, like how do I get there? What's the public transportation options? Is there parking available? Yes or no? And then, of course, most importantly, where's good for a pre-game drink? Now, the other things that we've got, we'll go back to our English Premier League examples. So we've got Arsenal FC. We had a look before and went, hang on a minute, why can't I buy tickets for it? We've got the information about the club themselves. So all their league titles, FA Cups, League Cups, who are the club legends? Where can I get tickets? If we have a look here, they've got a staged ticket release. Club members get first crack. If there are any left, then they go on sale to the general public. That's why we weren't able to grab those ones that we were looking at for September. Also, too, if I go down a little bit further into Crystal Palace, then I'll be able to see exactly why I couldn't get the tickets. It's because they do it on a membership basis. Now, you first need to register with the club, then become a member. Now, if you are travelling from overseas, it's a £40 international membership, and that includes tickets to one home match. And that's how you get in and do your tickets. So we've made it so as that it's a complete one-stop shop for membership information. Click here. If I click on there, then the page will load up, and that will give me all the different membership options that are available for Crystal Palace. So that's the kind of thing that we're trying to put together to make it so as that it's a little bit easier for you. Now, why are we doing a Kickstarter then? We've got all this information, we've been doing okay. Now, imagine you're heading to a big town, a big city in the American Midwest. So you've got, if I have a look there, I can see the next few matches, Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox, and then in a couple of weeks, I'd imagine there'd be a Chicago Fire MLS game there as well. Now, imagine, though, that you're heading in October. And in October in Chicago, you might have the baseball playoffs. You'll have the NBA, the NHL going on, and the NFL as well. So you really want to be able to sort of get all that information and bring it all together in one easy hit. So one of the things we'd like to do with this Kickstarter is to have a search feature that's included in here so as that people can actually go in, have a look through. Now, matches are subject to change. They can, a lot of sports leagues will only release the exact timings about a week or two in advance, but at least it will give you an idea as to what's going on and help you plan your trips just that little bit better. Another thing that we're looking at doing is having a mobile phone application. So if you did find yourself in Chicago, you're there for work or whatever else, you're not really thinking about sport, it'll pop up with a notification. Hey there, we've got the Cubs playing the Padres. Do you want to get tickets? And you'll be able to book the tickets through your mobile phone, straight to the official ticketing agency and get yourself sorted there. Head on out to the ground and have a great time. Now, another thing that we'd like to start doing is to have it so as that people can actually write in and tell us about their experiences with sports. In our blog section, we do have a number of different categories. We've got stadium tours, we've got days at the different sporting events. What was it like at your favourite sporting event? Did you enjoy it? What was the day like at Lord's Cricket Ground for England v Pakistan? So it's that kind of thing that we really want to be sharing with everyone. Now, for me, if I'm going to have people that are going to come in, that are going to write for this sporting world, then I want to be professional, which means that we have to treat our writers as professionals and we do have to pay them. So again, that's another thing that we'll be using the money from the Kickstarter to try and encourage people to write for us and also to reward them for what they're doing. So check out our website. It's thissportingworld.com. Have a look around if you do have any suggestions for it. If you've got any questions about what we're planning on doing, what our rewards are, then please don't hesitate to contact us on thissportingworld@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Thank you very much for your time, for reading, and I'd like to thank you very much in advance for your support.